Crash course on North Korea. Why is it so poor and crazy in nuclear testing? North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, is a country located in East Asia. It is known for its isolated and authoritarian government, human rights violations, and nuclear program. In this crash course, we will explore the history and factors that have contributed to North Korea's poverty and nuclear ambitions. History. North Korea was formed after World War II, following the division of Korea into two parts along the 38th parallel. The Soviet Union supported the formation of a communist government in the north, while the United States supported a democratic government in the south. In 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea, starting the Korean War. The war lasted 3 years and ended in a stalemate, with a ceasefire agreement signed in 1953. The two Koreas remain technically at war to this day, as no peace treaty was ever signed. Following the war, North Korea became heavily dependent on the Soviet Union for economic and military aid. However, after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, North Korea's economy suffered greatly. This led to a period of famine in the 1990s, which is estimated to have killed hundreds of thousands of people. Current situation. Today, North Korea is one of the world's most isolated and repressive countries. The government, led by Kim Jong-un, exercises tight control over all aspects of society, including the media, education, and religion. There are severe restrictions on freedom of speech, assembly, and movement. Human rights abuses, including forced labor, torture, and extrajudicial executions, are widespread. The economy of North Korea is highly centralized and heavily controlled by the government. There is little private enterprise, and the vast majority of the population works in state-owned enterprises. The country is heavily reliant on imports of food and energy, and suffers from chronic shortages of both. This, combined with economic sanctions imposed by the international community, has led to a persistent shortage of basic goods and services. Nuclear ambitions. North Korea's nuclear program has been a major source of concern for the international community for decades. The country has conducted several nuclear tests and has repeatedly threatened to use its nuclear weapons against its enemies. The development of nuclear weapons has been a top priority for the North Korean government, as it sees them as a key tool for ensuring its survival and gaining leverage in international negotiations. There are several factors that have contributed to North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons. One is the country's belief in the concept of juche, or self-reliance. This ideology, which was developed by North Korea's founding leader Kim Il-sung, emphasizes the importance of independence from foreign influence. The development of nuclear weapons is seen as a way to achieve this independence and ensure the country's security. Another factor is the threat of foreign aggression. North Korea sees the United States and South Korea as its primary enemies, and the presence of U.S. military forces in the region as a direct threat to its security. The development of nuclear weapons is seen as a way to deter these enemies and prevent an attack on North Korea. Interesting stories and examples. One of the most well-known stories about North Korea is the defection of Hwang Jan-yeop, a high-ranking member of the North Korean government and one of the architects of the juche ideology. Hwang defected to South Korea in 1997, and provided valuable insight into the inner workings of the North Korean government. He also expressed regret for his role in developing the ideology that has kept the country isolated and impoverished. Another interesting example is the story of Shin Dong-hyuk, who was born in a North Korean labor camp and spent his entire childhood there. Shin eventually escaped from the camp and made his way to South Korea, where he became an advocate for human rights and shared his story with the world. Shin's experience highlighted the brutal conditions in North Korean labor camps, which are notorious for their use of torture, forced labor, and other abuses. North Korea's nuclear program has also been the subject of several interesting stories and examples. In 2017, North Korea conducted its sixth and most powerful nuclear test to date. The test triggered an earthquake with a magnitude of 6.3, and was felt as far away as China and Russia. The test drew condemnation from the international community, and led to increased sanctions against North Korea. Another example is the famous basketball diplomacy of former NBA star Dennis Rodman. Rodman visited North Korea several times and struck up a friendship with Kim Jong-un, despite the country's poor human rights record and nuclear program. Rodman's visits were criticized by many, but he argued that he was trying to promote dialogue and understanding between North Korea and the United States. Conclusion. In conclusion, North Korea is a complex and challenging country with a long history of isolation, poverty, and human rights abuses. Its pursuit of nuclear weapons has further complicated the situation, and has led to tensions with the international community. However, there are also stories of bravery, resilience, and hope in North Korea, and it is important to remember the human cost of the country's challenges. Here is a poem on the miserable situation in North Korea. In North Korea, a land of misery and woe. The people suffer, but their cries don't show. A government with power, but no compassion or grace, leaves its people to starve, without a trace. Children with empty bellies, their eyes hollow and sad. Their future uncertain, their dreams dashed and dead. Families torn apart, their loved ones taken away. Tortured and imprisoned, with nothing left to say. The countryside is barren, the cities are bleak. The air is thick with fear, and hope seems weak. The regime rules with an iron fist. With propaganda and lies, they persist. The nuclear tests, a show of might. But for the people, only endless night. Their health and safety, sacrificed for power. Their lives, nothing more than a tragic hour. Oh, North Korea, a land of despair. A place where hope is rare, and dreams are rare. We pray for a day when you'll be free. When your people will live in peace and harmony. ***, start planning your next global adventure with ease and convenience with our Booking.com referral link. https://www.booking.com/index.html $aid equals 7989335 as a great choice to plan your next trip. You can find and book flights, hotels, cars, and local attractions all in one place, and their price match guarantee ensures you're getting the best deal. Thank you for kind support our AnHub Metaverse channel, and please watch more interesting videos here.